This semester, East Carolina proudly welcomed the Prince of Swaziland, South Africa, to speak about youth activism.
I come from a country where the impossible became possible. And we are in the process of seeing history in the making.
As the grandson of sovereign leaders Nelson Mandela and King Sophuza II, Cedza Dlamini has a distinguished ancestry. But he is not content living in the shadows of his forefathers.
Two of my grandparents, my grandfather in Swaziland, King Sophuza II, from my father's side of the family, led Swaziland out of colonialism into independence in 1968. And King Sophuza II was the Nelson Mandela of his time. He essentially led a small landlocked country, landlocked between South Africa and Mozambique, in peace and prosperity. I go to primary schools and high schools around the country, and you ask them about who Nelson Mandela is. Some of them have no idea, no clue. So this is a way for us to keep that legacy alive.
As an emissary for the United Nations, Cedza travels to institutions around the globe to spread awareness about critical issues in South Africa.
One of the things I always get when I'm in an audience is, how do I get to work with the United Nations? How do I get involved? You know, the United Nations actually would love to have young people involved. They have an entire division that's actually focused on young people, but not enough people are coming forward because either they're intimidated or they feel disconnected from the system. But they're there, it's open, they're there to serve us. I want us to think of leadership and the expansion of leadership as we think of this goes into more of a global context. We have this concept called Ubuntu in South Africa. Ubuntu means connectedness. It means you exist because you belong to a greater whole.
Cedza began his own non-profit organization to further promote the goals set forth by the United Nations.
The Ubuntu Institute is very much focused on social entrepreneurship. We get students from universities that we work with, and what we do is we design service learning opportunities for them in South Africa. So we specifically have 4 areas that we're particularly interested in. One is education, the other is HIV and AIDS. We're looking at public health issues. And the third is poverty eradication, and the fourth is gender and women empowerment. So we customize trips and we create those experiences for students so that they can actually get credit for their experiences in South Africa.
Cedza believes that bridging the gap between the business and private sectors is essential in order to develop the financial resources necessary to deal with extreme poverty and disease.
One of the things that I had to face in starting and really running a nonprofit organization is, how can I make my nonprofit organization sustainable? It's not enough to be altruistic and to be driven by a sense of wanting to make a difference in the world. The nonprofit world is very, very, very competitive.
In that, people need to take advantage of organizations that are in place as opposed to depending on the international community for support.
And then this is a question I always get, and I like to answer the question up front, which is, as young leaders, we are all inheriting a planet that will require our leadership. You are the leaders of the future. What is it that you can do? What is it that individually you can do to actually make this world a better place? Find the thing that you'll be passionate about, the thing that will make it easy for you to wake up in the morning and not feel like you're doing work.